I think it's hard to argue that I'm not ready for the next level anyway. Do you know what I mean? I think other than that one Mark Ryan's fight, I've been on fire. I think I just need to keep performing at my best, and that's the byproduct of it.
First of all, introducing our challenger. Out of the blue corner. He's going to step in, and he does. It's all over. Let's bring on the boom.
This is Eternal MMA.
All right, everybody, welcome back, and thank you for joining me here once again on another edition of the Eternal Insiders Podcast. We are being joined today by the newly crowned King of the Middleweights, back in his rightful place at the top of the pile, coming off his fantastic win over Brogan Anderson, that first round knockout win at Eternal 81. He is now set to defend that title against Ben Johnston at Eternal 83. Huge card coming up on the Gold Coast March 16. Cannot wait for that one. Please welcome in John Martin Fraser. John, thanks for joining me here, brother. We almost missed this time slot. We're here. We're running on time. We got to go, man. How is things with you?
Yeah, awesome, man. Yeah, just looking forward to getting stuck into the fight next week.
Yeah, man. How is everything going up in the build up to this one, man? I've noticed you've been over in Bali training and everything as well, training with a few different training partners and that sort of thing. How is the lead up for this one?
It's been really good. Yeah, it's been different from most camps, but it's been really good. I feel like I peaked at a perfect time as well. Like I've had this last week of training has just been fucking perfect. It's feeling really good. Yeah.
Training over in Bali, what was sort of the inspiration behind doing that? Is that somewhere you've frequented before? Is this something sort of new for you? Why training in Bali?
Like me and Kyle have mentioned it a few times. Like we should go away to break the camp up a little bit. Because I've been hammer and tongs pretty much since 28th of December. I've pretty much been like flat out. To be honest, I haven't really taken a break. I haven't taken a break at all. Obviously taking the foot off the gas after the Brogan fight, but I've just been going pretty hard at it since just after Christmas. But I haven't had any time off. I've just been plugging away, So we've talked about it for the last couple of years about possibly going away to Thailand or Bali or something for a training camp. And I went over in December with the missus to get some wedding photos that we were meant to have a few years ago, because we actually got married a couple of years ago, but we didn't get a chance to go to Bali because of COVID and whatnot. And I ended up training in Bali MMA. Really liked the gym. Got speaking to a couple of boys back here, and they were keen to go over and do a bit of a camp as well. So it all tied in pretty well,
Now, I noticed you were training also with Kit Campbell. I don't know if he's a regular training partner of yours these days, but he's a former opponent of yours. Now you guys are training together.
Yeah, so I saw that Barack was actually going to. I saw a post he's going to Bali, so I thought I'd message Kit, see what he's doing, because we've spoken back and forth over the last couple of years, and he said he's actually thinking about going over. So I said the dates, and we just linked it up to go over the same time. It was awesome. He's a good training partner. He's a really good dude. I really like it. It was good to have him work with as well. We had a good group of boys going over as it was, but it was even better than he was in the same kind of, he was only fighting 2 weeks before me against Matt, so it just tied in really well.
I don't know, you noticed you were training also with Rob Whittaker down at Smeaton Grange at the Gracie Academy there as well. Got a few sort of reps in with him. What was that like training with Rob? Is that the first time you trained with Rob, or is it something you've done regularly in the past?
No, it's first time. Yeah, first time. I was meant to fight two of his boys actually, like Issy and Jacob. So it's cool to get some training with them too, like really talented boys and just good people as well, But no, it was the first time training with all three of them. But it's a bit of a surreal experience for me, the first time sparring with him. I was like, fucking, I'm sparring with Rob Whittaker, But it was awesome, man. Yeah, fucking really good to get some work with him. Like I said, all good people, good hard training as well. It was. It's definitely something I'd go back down and get some work in with them as well. They said that I'm more than welcome as well. So yeah, it's definitely something I'll do in the future again,
What's the biggest thing you sort of notice, sparring and training with a guy like Robert Whittaker? I imagine he is one of, if not maybe the highest level sort of guys that you train with, being a former middleweight champion in the UFC. What's sort of the vibe, and what's that sort of, from a physicality standpoint and a skill standpoint, was that a big noticeable sort of level sort of change going up and training with a guy like Rob?
I think Rob, like, for me, it was it's just his style is so hard to deal with. I think, because he's so fast in and out, and that was obviously he's so well rounded as well. His style in and out is just, and because he was so fast as well, that was probably the hardest thing to deal with. But yeah, he's obviously I got a lot of work to do, but it didn't feel like unattainable. It was it was a cool experience, man. Really good.
Well, we know what your goals are in terms of you wanting to go to the UFC, and we'll talk about that in the conversation, but I suppose it's sort of good for you to go up against guys like that and sort of see where that level is. It was very cool to see you guys link up. Very cool to see what you're doing in the lead up to this fight for sure as well. But, I mean, coming off the impressive win that you had, of course, against Brogan Anderson at Eternal 81, man, how sort of satisfying for you, was that being able to get that done in the first round? Of course, you lost your title previously against Matt Myers, so to come in and get that job done in the spectacular fashion that you did. Was that sort of a bit extra satisfying for you, not having to go through necessarily a full sort of 5-round war and just get your title back just like that?
Honestly, it was so satisfying to go in there and just show what I do. I feel like I really didn't represent myself that well against the last Matt Myers as well. And obviously the Matt Myers fight, sorry. Obviously he did a fucking awesome job of taking that away from me, but I feel like I just performed really well against Brogan, and I think that was the most satisfying thing, because I'd underperformed against Matt, and I think going in against Brogan and just performing at my best, that was the thing that really meant a lot to me. It was it was good to do. I plan on doing the same thing next week.
I mean, you look at that fight, against Brogan Anderson. I mean, there was a lot of, I guess, hype coming in for Brogan. 15-3 fighter. He's done a lot of good things around, a lot of other fights that he's sort of obviously been in, and a big guy too. Like a guy who looks like he'd fight sort of at light heavyweight. So does that sort of was that kind of like a bit of a signature win for yourself? I guess, because I think a lot of people expected that to potentially play out for those sort of 5 rounds. Was that a bit of a reminder, hey, I can take out these guys that are got this massive amount of experience. This is what I'm capable of. This shows I am sort of ready for that next level.
Maybe a reminder for everyone else, but I already know it. He's a big solid dude. I think it looks good on my behalf for beating a guy that's so experienced and such a strong competitor as well. But I think it's just. It's already shit that I already know. That's how it's gonna go when I perform my best. So I think, I think it's hard to argue that I'm not ready for the next level anyway. Do you know what I mean? I think other than that one Matt Myers fight, I've been on fire. I think I just need to keep performing at my best, and that's the byproduct of it.
Well, obviously we've got the middleweight title fight coming up against Ben Johnston. Can you talk to me a bit about how much of a different prospect, I guess, he is, compared to your last fight against someone like Brogan Anderson? Ben Johnston, obviously a former Muay Thai world champion, but with 3 submission wins to open his account as a mixed martial arts professional. Doesn't have the same sort of experience for you, but how much of a different challenge do you think he is compared to your fights gone by?
Yeah, just stylistically, obviously Ben is the complete opposite of what Brogan is, I suppose. Into not the complete opposite, but he's got obviously Brogan's striking wasn't the biggest thing to be aware of, obviously I respected the fact that he can kick and punch the same as everybody else, but his grappling is where he was going to be dangerous, but Ben's a little bit more. Ben's obviously the physical attributes. He's taller, he's more well-rounded, he's a good striker, so that's pretty much what I'm taking into this one. But the plan and the goal remains exactly the same. I think it doesn't really change what I'm going to do too much.
Now, I mean, as far as just looking at this fight, both on paper and matching you guys up kind of skill for skill, with your toughness and everything, your background records and everything you sort of bring to the table. It's a very interesting prospect when you look at your records because, I mean, you look at Ben as far as like his wins so far, 100% success rate in terms of his finishes. With being finished one time, he's only had that one loss, but obviously he was finished there. For yourself, all but one of your wins, I believe, have come by way of finish, and you yourself only been sort of finished one time. So when you kind of look at the fight, you could be forgiven for thinking, look, this fight could go one round, easily. Like, either one of you guys could sort of finish it first. But because you guys are so both like, hard to finish, you couldn't be surprised if it goes the full 5 rounds and it's a complete war. Is there anything at this point in time that, your sort of gut feeling tells you how this fight's going to play out? Like, what do you think in terms of that?
No, I don't really go into it with too much expectations in the sense of how it's going to go. But pretty much hit the nail on the head. Like, I think I'm prepared to get him out there quick, and I'm prepared for it to be a fucking 5-round slugfest where we hit fuck with each other, back and forth fight of just mixing all fucking disciplines in. I think it could be a quick one. I think it could be one of those fights that I look back on and go, fuck, that was a mad experience. Is wild. I think it's got potential to be a fucking hell of a fight. Like, I think it's got a real good potential to be a cracking fight.
Do you think there is a particular key for yourself for you winning this fight?
No. I'm just prepared for it to go anywhere. Like, I don't think it's going to be just a fucking, I'm just prepared for it to go anywhere.
Yeah. I mean, you said to us last time, and I'll just ask this before I let you go. I mean, you said obviously prior to that fight with Brogan Anderson, and you mentioned at the top of the conversation here, the goal is obviously, of course, the UFC. That's where you want to go. You said this is your entire life. It's your plan A, B, and C. There is nothing else. Like, this is obviously what you want to do. You're working towards something, and that goal is obviously the UFC. After Ben's last fight, he obviously shared the exact same sentiments. Like, this is go time for him. He's put a massive amount of time into combat sports in general. Now, he's not mucking around either. He wants to be in the UFC himself. That sort of adds, I guess, it raises the stakes, for both you guys. This isn't just about the middleweight championship. There are massive sort of goals in the line here. So, it really just sort of raises that level and makes this fight, all that much more bigger.
Yeah, for sure, man. Like, we're both fighting for the same thing. We're both starving for the same goal, And like, that's like you said, is the plan A, B, and C, and nothing's changed. And I'm sure it's the same for him. Like, I'm fucking starving for this. And I'm not like, I'm not looking past Ben for a second. Like, he's all that fucking matters to me right now. This is all I'm thinking about. I'm aware the potential of the UFC after it and stuff, or 1 fight, 2 fights, whatever it is. But all I'm focused on right now is going out there and fucking him up. Like, as I'm sure he's got the same exact focus. Like, he's coming out there to fucking hurt me and take my health away from me, and I'm planning doing exactly the same thing. So it's just exciting to see who's gonna come out on top. Like, I've never been so ready mentally, physically, everything for this fight. I can't fucking wait to see what happens.
And it just makes it that much more exciting for the fans, man. I mean, this is a huge fight. A couple of very experienced guys in the combat sports world, middleweight title on the line. So much more in terms of implications from what can potentially come from this with that Eternal 83 show. So with you back on top as a middleweight champion, man, very cool last fight that you had. Put yourself back on your rightful place of the throne there, coming in for this massive middleweight title defense against Ben Johnston, March 16 on the Gold Coast. So all the best to you, my man. Can't wait to see how it turns out for you. Hopefully for yourself, coming out the other side with that middleweight title on the still back around your waist. And we'll do this all again, man. And we'll talk to you after that win.
Nice one. Thanks, Luke.